Hey everyone, and welcome back to Crypto Empire, where we dominate the crypto market. My name is Connor. In this video, I'll be going over what I would do if I was just starting out in crypto at this time, around a quarter way through 2025. I'll be going over the mindset it's important to have, the psychology around the market, and the importance of having a plan in crypto. It is critical. If you want anything in life, anything worthwhile, it needs to be planned out. Most people get into crypto with no plan. So anyways, let's get into this video. So the reason I'm making this video at this time is because I think it's a really good time in general to be highly interested in the cryptocurrency market, especially with how 2025 has unfolded so far, with essentially prices only going down. A lot of people have lost interest at this time. A lot of people have just been kind of wiped out from the market in general, or they're just experiencing market fatigue and they don't want to pay attention. They don't want to check up and essentially be ready for when the market does actually reverse. And I think that time is going to be happening really, really soon. So if you're brand new to crypto right now, it's actually an amazing time. But let's go over what I would do if I was just starting out so that you can get ahead of the person that wants to do no research and no learning to essentially up their game. So one really crucial thing to understand when it comes to the crypto market are market cycles. We traditionally have had the 4-year cycle based around the Bitcoin halving. This is somewhat common knowledge at this point in time, so I'm not going to go into detail on what the 4-year cycle is. Look it up if you're not familiar with it. Most people probably are. But the most important thing to understand is traditionally we have had 4-year cycles based around the halving. As of this bull market, that whole model has essentially broken. Bitcoin made a new all-time high before the halving in March 2024, up here at $73,000. This is the first time we ever saw a new all-time high before the halving. Also, we have BlackRock in the market with an ETF product, other huge institutions with their own ETF products, major hedge funds in the market, right? A lot of really smart traditional finance capital is now in crypto, and this has not happened in the past. So the market is very different than what it was in 2017 and 2021, and it's really important to understand that and not operate out of date information, which is, the 4-year cycle, and Bitcoin will make the new all-time high after the halving, and then we'll get the bull market, all that kind of stuff. If 2024 and 2025 has shown us anything so far, it's that is essentially outdated information, okay? So with that being said, it's important to plan. The market does still run on cycles. It's important to plan cycle by cycle. And the mindset most people have, which is why they don't succeed in crypto, is they have this kind of lottery gambling mentality where they feel like they need to make all their money in one cycle. And if they don't, they're a failure. This mindset is actually going to inhibit your success. It will likely lead to you making decisions that will set you back further rather than get you ahead. Again, because it all comes back down to this gambling mentality. So do not plan to get rich in just one cycle. I don't think the crypto market is going to cease to exist in like 2 to 3 years, right? There's more time. There will be more opportunities. So your focus should be just to go on a steady upwards curve, right? If you have the gambling mentality, you might spike up. But the most important thing is not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep. So you might spike up, your net worth, your profit and loss. But if you continue to gamble and take excessive risk with no plan, you're more likely than not going to see your net worth also spike down. So it is really important to think in terms of multiple cycles and not just try and get rich in one market cycle, and also to have proper risk management at play. All right, that is absolutely critical. Let's go ahead and move on now to another really important point. And that point is a lot of beginners fall into the trap of trusting people out there that make content around crypto with a large following count. It's important to understand that a large number of followers on social media does not equate to having in-depth knowledge of the crypto market. One really insightful event that happened around 2 months ago that really exposed this and made it even clearer than it already has been was the 3 rug pulls in a row from the Trump meme coin, the Melania meme coin, and then the Libra meme coin based off of the president of Argentina. I did make a full video around this subject, as you can see, just after it happened on the 20th of February. I encourage you to watch that video. But here, I was going over how this one group, this venture company called TREZOR Ventures, they were tied to all three of those rug pulls. Okay, they were essentially the facilitators. They were the facilitator of three of the largest rug pulls in crypto history, with Trump, his wife, the first lady, and then the president of Argentina. And on this diagram, this is a few of the team members of TREZOR Ventures, and it also shows some of the influencers, right? Kaz and Champ Tgram are the people showed here, right? These people have hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter. They make YouTube videos about the strategies to find meme coins and how to win in the meme coin market. But meanwhile, they're being fed insider information from one very large cabal group. Okay, so these people are essentially profiting off of your ignorance, and this happens at a very large scale. TREZOR Ventures, they were a cabal, one cabal, but there's many groups like this that didn't get essentially caught and put in the mass public eye like these people. Most people that do have a following around crypto make their money from reference links, shilling exchanges, or like these people, they're basically in bed with some kind of cabal group, and they're shilling memes that end up rug pulling, but they're able to get in super early, and their audience buys after them, as well as everyone else's audience that was shilling it, and they make a ton of money while most people are left with nothing. Meme coins, a very good example of this. It's essentially the greater fool theory, right? Who's going to buy after me? It's a lottery gambling ticket mentality. If you're going to go in any meme coin like this, you should understand the risks involved and the fact that you will probably be the greater fool if you are buying some type of meme coin, especially ones that have moved up really high in price really quickly, that are being talked about very often on social media sites like X or crypto Twitter. A large following account does not equate to having in-depth knowledge of crypto. Most of these people will lead you astray. It's really important to essentially not only just do your due diligence, but use common sense most of the time, okay? And it all comes back to greed and fear and the gambling mentality. Most people end up buying coins like Trump because they feel like they're missing out. FOMO runs the crypto market, and greed runs the crypto market, and fear also runs the crypto market. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the next point. And it's essentially get your emotions in check and understand that the market does run off of emotions. Over here on Bitcoin not too long ago, in December and January, we were trading above $100,000, right? We were trading at 105K over here in mid-December. On January 20th, Trump's inauguration date, when he launched his meme coin, we actually swept that all-time high price. And from there, that was the market top. Again, the market runs on FOMO. Over here, December, January, FOMO was so high. Meme coins going crazy. Bitcoin's at $100,000. Everyone felt like if they weren't buying or buying more or getting involved, they were going to miss everything. That was the market top. So it's important to understand when you feel extreme FOMO and prices are really high, it's usually close to a market top. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, kind of like right now, if you feel like if you buy, you're going to lose everything and the market's only going down and it just really, really like hurts to buy things, that's usually a great indication that it's close to some type of market bottom. And it's usually a great time to buy. Like even if, let's say you buy Bitcoin right now and it ends up dropping, let's say to around $70,000, that could be another 10, 11% drop. Altcoins might drop 20 to 30% from here. But it's very, very likely that if this happens, we do see a nice move back up, okay? So with that being said, you might buy sometimes when it really, really hurts, and then you'll see prices drop another 20%, and you'll be like, oh my God, I made a horrible decision. But that fear is a great indication, typically, that you're doing the right thing, and you are buying at a good time, right? Just like the Rothschild said, buy when there's blood in the streets, even if the blood is your own. What does that mean? Even if you're losing money on your investments, everyone else is also losing money. There's blood in the street. Your own blood's in the street. But typically, that is the greatest time to be a buyer, okay? Be greedy when others are fearful. Warren Buffett as well, greatest stock investor of all time, right? Some of his philosophies for sure might be out of date, but the fact that his number one rule is don't lose money, that's something you have to agree with. Again, it's not about how much money you make. It is about how much money you actually do keep. Now let's go ahead and move on to another really important point. If I was just starting out in crypto, again, around a quarter way through 2025, it's important to have a general plan in place, and also not to just throw a bunch of darts blind at the board hoping that you somehow pick some kind of winner. Because currently there are over 17,000 coins in the crypto market. There's projects or protocols like pump.fun, which will allow like thousands of new coins to be created every single day. So there's an infinite amount of new coins coming into the crypto market right now. So when it comes to structuring a portfolio and having a plan, that is a really essential piece of the puzzle that most beginners just kind of overlook completely. So I do think it is a wise idea to have most of your capital in the essentially high caps, right? The safer place, right? Your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, stuff like that. If you want to gamble, you can put all of your money in mid cap and low cap coins. But if you want to structure a portfolio and essentially cover your downside risk, it's really important to have something like Bitcoin in your portfolio and at a pretty high percentage, right? Around 50% of everything. And then with that other 50%, you can split that up amongst mid cap and high risk, low cap projects, right? With lower percentages being in those high risk, low caps, right? I say 25% around in low caps, 25% in mid caps. That will probably do you really well, okay? And having that plan in place of not being a gambler and not chasing after shiny objects and not chasing after that shiny new meme coin that some guy with 1 million followers on Twitter is talking about, saying it's going to be the next Pepe and do 100x from the current price. Meanwhile, it already multiplied by 20 times in the past 3 days. Don't get caught up in the shiny object syndrome mentality and stick with your plan to essentially get rich over a longer period of time, over multiple market cycles like we discussed at the start of the video. This way you don't end up with nothing, losing your shirt because you decided to gamble and take excessive risk. So look, we've covered a lot of really important topics and ideas in this video, and it might seem like basic stuff, but it's the basics that take you to the top. The fundamentals repeated over and over and over again. That's how champions are made, all right? And that's how you stay at the top of the mountain, right? You need to continue to do what actually got you there and not essentially lose your path and go astray and not be like a drifter, a piece of driftwood out at sea, chasing after every little different thing. And when it comes to low cap projects, you have to understand the risk involved with them. Most of them are going to fail. If you get in early, you might be able to make some money from them, all right? But understand, more oftentimes than not, you will essentially be gambling if you're just chasing after low caps all of the time. Pre-sales as well. Pre-sales at this point in time, it's not 2017 anymore, okay? Most of them won't do too much. Now me, the last pre-sale I invested into was TreZor, and essentially myself and people in the Crypto Empire Mastermind group, we were able to buy the private sale of TreZor at 5 cents. It's currently trading for around 30 cents. People who watch the channel would have seen this video and would have gotten access to the public sale at 10 cents. Again, it's trading at 30 cents. Okay, so I invest in these pre-sales very few and far between because I understand that the gambling mentality is super, super real. And I want to pick the ones that I think have the highest probability of winning. But most of them, and I understand that most of them amount to nothing. And it's just teams who are cash hungry and really, really greedy, just going for a quick cash grab. So try and do your best to stay away from all of the traps. And remember all of the main points of this video. Don't try and get rich in one cycle. A large following number does not equate to being someone who is extremely reliable and that you should listen to on the world of social media in crypto. We went over the Kelsier Ventures example, especially with their influencers. All right, look into that on your own and you'll realize that there's a lot of really shady stuff that happens here. And if you're new and you're completely green to all of these concepts, it won't even cross your mind that, maybe I should think twice about, chasing after this coin that this guy's shilling super hard, stuff like that. Okay. And also we talked about fear and greed and how that runs the market. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it insightful. Drop a comment down below if you did. So in this video, we went over a few really important ideas on what I would do if I was just getting started out in crypto in 2025. Hope you guys liked the video. If you did, smash that like button below. If you're new to Crypto Empire, hit that subscribe button and turn on all bell notifications so you don't miss any future videos. If you are interested, I do run a group. It's the Crypto Empire Mastermind. You can apply below using the first link down in the description if you are interested in that. Anyways, that's all from me today, guys. My name is Connor from Crypto Empire, and I'll see you in the next video.